Hey everyone, welcome to another How I Made This. Today I'm going to show you my process for making backgrounds. When I first started drawing, I avoided backgrounds as much as I could and stayed very firmly in my comfort zone, which was character design. Perspective is still pretty confusing, and like most people, I don't enjoy doing things I'm bad at. Unfortunately, it's the only way to get better, so with this project I really wanted to push myself, and I think I've improved a lot. For this animation, I already had an idea for the kind of look I wanted. In Ghost Stories Part 2 and 3, I'd started to develop a flat colour style with small lined details. I wanted the colours I used this time to be a lot brighter and bolder. So the first thing I needed to do was create a style frame to nail down the look of the backgrounds. For the test, I'll pick out one of my boards that's pretty simple without any crazy perspective. My canvas is usually 3840 by 2160 pixels for projects that need a bit more detail, and later when the project is finished, I'll export at 1920 by 1080. I'll always keep any animation or movement that I need to do in mind, so I know how to split up the foreground, midground, background, and any objects in between, just in case a character needs to move in front of or behind something. Making a style frame is also a good way to set up your process for the rest of the backgrounds. This test was actually made before the colour scripts and helped me realise I shouldn't go straight in with colour, but block out everything with grayscale first. As I made the style frame, I kept a note of everything that worked well and what didn't, to help make the process for the rest of the backgrounds a lot smoother. This was the final look of the style frame, which I was really happy with. And after completing the colour scripts, I moved forward with the rest of the backgrounds. Now, unlike the style frame, there were quite a few other backgrounds that were a bit more complicated with perspective, so I couldn't just wing it. Using references is not cheating, it's smart and saves a lot of time. Just be sure to credit anyone you used references from if you didn't take the photos or 3D model it yourself. For my final film at university, I actually made a model of the backgrounds in SketchUp that I could rotate and take screenshots to use later on. Storyboarder is a good option as it's free, and there's plenty of models, props, and perspective grids you can use to draw on top of too. If you're okay with something being a bit more complex, but also free, there's Blender as well. I'd seen a couple of people model things in The Sims, and I gave that a go for the lecture hall and bar space, which was fun, but probably wouldn't do it again as it was very tempting to play the game after I'd finished building and taking screenshots. Once I brought my references into TVPaint, I lowered the opacity of that layer, made a new one, and started sketching on top. At this point, I can add in little details like bags, glasses, bottles, and extras that I didn't include earlier to make the backgrounds feel more alive. Once I'm happy with the sketch, I'll turn off the reference layer and start to block out the basic shapes in grayscale. I've been using the shape tools quite a lot, but if some of the edges are a bit too sharp, I can go over them freehand or use the line smoothing tool, which I usually set anywhere from 23 to 38. After the blocking is finished, I'll start to add my base colour, highlights and shadows to the background, using the style frame and colour script as a reference. The colour scripts are pretty small and there's a lot more detail I can add in a larger canvas like this. As I worked, I decided to make the colours in the first scene a darker blue rather than the lighter shade I used in the scripts. All of my brushes and textures came from my TVPaint brush pack and texture packs, which I've put a link to in the description. Now, the lecture hall backgrounds are some of my favourites from this project, and once I was finished with the colours, I could move on to adding lined detail. I chose a small round brush and changed the size setting from pressure to constant. I didn't outline everything completely, using small breaks to add a rougher, more sketchy look. Unless it was a longer line across the tabletop or down a wall, I didn't use the line smoothing tool because I wanted that hand-drawn, slightly shaky look to stay consistent throughout the line work. There are around 21 different backgrounds, and because of certain camera moves, they aren't all the same size. These two shots will be animated at their current canvas sizes. The wider background was made to fit the compositions of several different shots, to save time drawing slightly different angles for the same location. Now, I've still got so much to learn when it comes to backgrounds, but I'm looking forward to doing that in my other projects. For now, I'm really pleased with how the backgrounds turned out, and I can move on to the next step in my process. As always, I hope you found this helpful. If you want to see more animations and tutorials from me, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post, and I'll be back with another video real soon. Bye!